Welcome to Life Life Etc., a show that covers all aspects of life, relationships, and success. And I'm your host, Dr. Anna Elton. Today we have a special guest, Melissa Parker. She she is here to talk about something extremely important. And I don't want to take away from your mission, and I want to give you the stage. Welcome, Melissa.
Oh, thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it. I'm excited to be here.
So today we'll talk about the power of being seen. Can you tell me a little bit what it means to you?
I think being able to use your voice for something that you feel really strongly about is so important. That was not always easy for me to do. I was a very shy individual. I had a hard time sharing in front of a lot of people. But after my son was diagnosed with autism and I was called to be able to help other families like my own, I was called to take that stage. And so I had to work very hard, but having that why and that importance of being able to help my son and help others is what really gave me the ability to be able to use my voice and to be able to be seen. And so I'm thankful for that opportunity to be able to be seen and heard.
Um, that's amazing. So let's actually start how it all began, right? So it all started with your son when he was diagnosed with autism. So how old was your son?
So he was probably 2 or 3 when I started noticing the signs. We would go to mommy and me classes, and he would join in for a little bit, but then he would become obsessed with one of the toys, and he would just go into the corner by himself and just want to play with that toy. And when I tried to pull him away or get him involved, he would have a major meltdown, and I'd have to drag him out of there kicking and screaming. And I'm like, what's going on with my son? And so it was about when he was 4 years old is when we got diagnosed. We really needed to get him into ABA therapy, which is applied behavioral analysis. We have an amazing center here, but you have to have an autism diagnosis first. So we got that, and they had to really hone in and target some behaviors that he was having because my daughter was a baby at the time, and she wanted to play with her son, with her brother, and he would, she would toddle over to him, and he just couldn't handle anyone being in his space, and he would bite and hit, and so we really just had to, kind of target those behaviors and try to get him to interact with us again because he had regressed. So he started normally and typically developing and meeting all of his milestones. And then I would say around 2, 3 years old, he started going backwards and he regressed. So any words that he had, he lost. He stopped, trying to play with us. His eye contact went away. And it was very, very hard and very difficult. And I just felt very alone at that time. And so we got that diagnosis, got him into the early intervention program. He started making progress, and we started connecting with other families. And that's when a lot of healing started happening. So because it's very tough to see your child struggle like that. And also you have hopes and dreams for your child, what you think that they are going to be able to accomplish one day. And when you just see them struggling with the most basic tasks, couldn't potty train, that was very difficult. Only eating 5 foods, not being able to go out in public, running away from me through traffic. You can't even go to the store or out anywhere because I was afraid I would lose him or that he would try to run across traffic. So it was a very scary time, but we do get through it.
And he is your oldest one, right?
He is, yes. So Brendan is now 19. So I've gone through many changes and challenges over the years, and now we're becoming into a new and interesting challenge, and that's Brendan becoming an adult, a young adult. So we're navigating that, but luckily I have a great community of experienced moms of all ages and backgrounds, and we all help one another, and that's how we get through.
That's amazing. So how functional is he right now? Is he like we're on the spectrum because when we think of neurodivergence, right, autism, it can be anywhere, right? It can be from
Right.
some mild autism where they're very functional, maybe they just have harder time making, eye contact and having some
Right.
difficulty making friends, versus where I work with some kids with autism who are nonverbal, right, which is
Right.
almost impossible to work with. And then how do you navigate and then trying to figure out
Yeah.
what level?
Yeah, so it's tough with autism because one child with autism is one child with autism. I'm sure you've heard that, but there's very high functioning who will love to talk your ear off about whatever it is they're interested in. And then you have moderate, which is where Brendan is. So moderate, Brendan does have some verbal communication. A lot of it is scripted, but thank God he can tell me the minimal amounts if he's hurt, if he's not feeling good, what's hurting, how he's feeling, very basic scripted items he can give me. And that's still growing. As he's 19, we can still grow and develop his communication. We push him to be able to do that. He likes to help me around the house, so he likes to be busy. And he loves to go out and do things. But I still have to kind of work with him on behavioral because people like to go up and talk to him and they don't know all the time that he is affected with autism. And so they try to have a typical conversation with him, and that gets him very anxious. And, he may do have some odd behaviors that he does that, gets people, they're not sure what to do. So it's always learning, and it's me having, trying to explain so that they understand. We plan for Brendan to either live with us forever, probably. I never say forever or, put any limitations on him because you just never know. We keep working with him, but we are planned and prepared for that if need be. And then right now he's still homeschooled. And what that looks like for us is a little different because, as you know, through 2020, I think that something that we learned about was different ways of being able to educate. And for us, we have a homeschool pod, and that is a small center that we have. We rent a space, and we have a few families that actually homeschool out of that. So they still have their classmates. There's a few of them there, but it's very small scale, and we can make it what we want because trying to find a great fit for education is very difficult for us parents. And so we have to be very flexible because a lot of times the public schools can't offer us, what we need and what our children need. Private schools, very difficult as well to find the right fit. And that's a real struggle, especially for parents who may have to work, So we've had to be very flexible on that. And we found a good fit for now. But as you know, as we talked about, that's Brendan going into adulthood now. So we're really having to evaluate what that's going to look like. And Brendan likes to be busy. He likes to be out doing things and activities. So we're going to have to plan for that. So that's something new that I'm learning as we go. So, and then you can have your lower functioning, and that's really a struggle for families. We have a lot of families, these children are limited verbal or nonverbal. And the most important thing that I like to say is that just because an individual may not have a lot of verbal capacity, they can still understand. And we always assume that they can understand. So when we talk to them and we speak to them, as an individual that can understand what we're saying. And I think that's a lot of frustrations for them is when they feel like they have something to say and they can't get the words out. I can't even imagine what that must be like. So we just do our best, and there's a lot of modalities out there that are there technology wise, and also new and different therapies and technologies that's coming out to be able to help these individuals that are nonverbal to be able to unlock communication, which is very exciting.
Yeah, that's amazing with all the technology coming out, right?
Right.
So, as you were talking, I was wondering, is there one thing that you think that you learned right now that you hoped you knew back then when you were first, friend your mom with a child who diagnosed with autism?
Yeah. Well, at first, I just thought I could heal him, being a nurse and everything. And I'm like, okay, we're going to go into therapies I kind of closed out everybody. I closed out my friends. I really just had to focus on his safety. And I put myself on the back burner and just really focused on him. And what I didn't realize was the power of community and how important that is, and how important it is for me to get Brendan out into the community so that they can see him, they can hear him, they can learn from him. And that's, something that I had to learn, because you need your people, you need your village. And so that's something that really helped me to be able to just, to heal and to get through it and to understand that I don't have all the answers. And while technology is a great tool, and being able to Google or search whatever you want, there's nothing like experience and another person that's been there and that can, give you a hug or just let you know that everything's going to be okay. And hey, why not try this or try that? There's nothing like that. So I wish I knew back then when we first got started how important, community was going to be.
That's amazing. And I know you have your initiative, right? Be
Mhm.
Body Initiative. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, the Be a Buddy initiative is how we bring people together in our community. So we have the Parker Foundation, and that was established in 2015, and we do free sports, arts, education, and safety programs. But we can only do this by connecting with our community and with other partners and individuals, organizations, and volunteers and student volunteers. So the Be a Buddy initiative is all about getting those individuals together with our families. So I don't have I work from home and I plan everything from home, but everything we do is in the field. So it's at your local baseball field, it's in your gymnasium, it's at art studios, it's whoever I can find to connect with to help us provide these fun events for families. And then the peer buddies is where the magic really happens, because as we know, our individuals with autism learn by being around other people, other kids. And unfortunately, like in the school setting, we're segregated, we're pulled apart, we're different. We don't have the opportunity to be able to share and to be together. So what I do is really work to get everyone together and doing something that they absolutely love to do. So the walls and the barriers just knock down. If a kid loves basketball, then come out and volunteer and teach another kid basketball. It's such an amazing thing to see. Yeah, I absolutely love it.
That's awesome. So far, what's your favorite event or something that you did for the foundation?
Well, I have to say, I love everything, and everything is unique and different because not all children love sports. Some love dance, some love art, they love karaoke, they love dance parties. That's one of my favorite things. I guess if I had to choose one, I would say the dance parties, because I'm out there dancing. The buddies are out there dancing. Mom and dad sometimes get out there. We just have a great time. There's smiles and laughs. And I think that's just where, everybody's just having a great time being themselves, being comfortable, being their silly selves.
That's awesome. So let me ask you, if anyone wants to reach out and be part of this foundation, how does it work?
Okay, say that one more time because I had a
So
hard
if
time hearing.
anyone wants to reach out and be part of this foundation, if they want to volunteer,
Yeah,
is it just in Florida or it's in other states? How does it work? Or
right.
who can be the person?
So right now, the Parker Foundation, we just serve our county and surrounding counties. So there's not a lot of resources out there, but resources are growing. So we are located in Florida. We're in Central Florida in Brevard County. We're on the coast, and so we serve all of Brevard County. But one thing I do get questions from moms and from people all around the United States, asking if we could have programs where they are. But what I would really like to do, because I can't be everywhere, is just to inspire another family just to do something like we have. I mean, Ted and I are just a family, just a mom and dad out there who wanted to do something for our family and for other families. And there's no reason why you can't do this in your state, in your city, wherever you live, around the United States or around the world. It doesn't mean you have to do everything like we do, But you can pick one thing that you love. If you love art, you can have a free art program and make it inclusive so that everyone can come out and enjoy it. So, you can also connect with other organizations such as Special Olympics is a really great one. They're worldwide and they need buddies and volunteers and coaches. It's something we work with them as well. They're well established, they're everywhere. So you can also work alongside a different, organization like that to be able to bring inclusive events to your area. So there's lots of options out there. And if anyone ever wanted to learn more about how we did it here, I would be happy to help them do that.
That's amazing. I like that. So let me ask you, how about your son? How involved is he with foundation?
Well, we made it for him, and he comes to every event. And I would say he loves some events more than others, and he has become very tolerant of it because when he comes to events, people want to talk to him. He's kind of the shining star of the Parker Foundation, and it makes him nervous, though, to have people come up and talk to him. So he really has learned how to communicate, better and to be able to tolerate it and have patience with that. I don't make him do anything that he doesn't want to do. A lot of times what I call him now, since he's getting a little older, he's like the manager of the T-ball team. So he'll come out and I have his little setup and he's just there to help me and to cheer everybody on. So that's what's great about it is it's family centered and families come and they stay and they get to talk and network with each other. And so it's a real family fun affair. It's not like a drop off or anything like that. So all families are involved. And I love that siblings can be involved too. So you don't want to overlook the siblings. They need to make connections and they need to know that they have support as well. So this gives them the opportunity to either come out and play with their siblings, doing whatever event we're doing, or just hang out with other sibs, that are there and see that they're not alone. There's other families that are going through this and, it's really connected to make friends that way.
That's amazing. So I was about to ask you about your daughter, right? So how is she like? I was just wondering, like, so how is she handling this? How is she with her brother? Was it challenging for her that I'm assuming a lot of attention was on your son, right?
Mhm.
Because he needed a lot of care.
Yeah. So I would say that we have a very big family here, which is amazing. And I'm so thankful for my family and my family support. We have a lot of aunts and cousins. And so I think that Carson never felt the lack of love, because it is tough. And I know that Brendan, and we talk about it a lot. It's something that you just need to talk about and be aware of, but Carson and a lot of her friends over the years, they will come and volunteer and help out or just play and do the sport or activity, whatever we're doing. Of course, now she's 16, so she's more focused on her social life. And so it's a little tougher for me to get her to come and be a part of our events, but she still does. And I love it because, the numbers are really increasing and she has a good number of friends that have siblings with autism. And I think that it's, empowering to her when she can be a support person for them and when they can talk about it. And sometimes I overhear their conversations and Carson is able to offer support. And I think that's just very empowering for her. And I know that she feels, it makes her feel good to be able to help others.
And how about your son? Is there anything that he ever able to express or say, or when he likes something, when he doesn't like something? How is he usually handling it?
Oh, yes. Well, you'll know when Brendan's happy because he's smiling and he makes kind of happy noises. He kind of is sort of like his own little language that he has, and he just makes funny noises and does little hand gestures, and everybody knows that that's Brendan in his happy place. And when he is not happy, you also know, because he's very loud. I have to try to remind him that he has a loud voice. And he will tell me when he's done. When he's done and he's ready to leave, and I honor that, because I can't imagine what it must be like being in his body, and what he's experiencing and how he sees and feels the world. And I do know that they have a lot of anxiety. If I think I have anxiety and I know that I have dealt with things, I can't imagine the level of anxiety that they must deal with on a day-to-day basis, just trying to feel safe in their environment and deal with their, the heightened sense of sounds, the visual things, and just being worried about trying to communicate and say the right thing. I mean, it's very tough for them. So I always just try to put myself in their position and understand. And it really does help me, give me more patience and understanding, to be able to do that, really be, empathetic and try to feel how they're feeling. And, and Brendan understands that. So he's a pretty laid back dude, and he loves his mommy. I'm his favorite person. But I'm just I think he knows that he's safe and that he's loved. And that's my number one mission as his mom, is just to create the most understanding, accepting world, that I possibly can for him and for individuals, that have autism like him.
So I know I guess some of my clients, but also I met this host, and he has autism, but he has the special power. So you can tell him your birthday, and then he can tell you which day you were born.
Oh wow!
Which
like
is
the day of the week.
Yeah, just like
that's
yeah.
Crazy. That's so awesome.
My so the kid that I work with, he knew everything about Marvel movies. So he can tell you anything and everything, and it was amazing. I was like, wow, how much information he's able to hold in his brain, right? So for your son, is there anything that you noticed, like a special power, right? I always say kids with autism, they have special powers.
Right. Well, for Brendan, I would say he knows the schedule better than anyone. So he knows everyone's schedule in the family. He knows when they're supposed to be somewhere. He always knows, like, the day of the week, what's happening, my schedule, Ted's schedule, everybody's schedule. And that's what he likes to talk about. So he's fixated on, he keeps us all on time. He's the first one up in the morning. He doesn't even need an alarm clock. So he's always up at the exact same time every day. He wakes me up, and then he makes sure everyone is on time and not behind. So I would say that's his superpower, because we are a busy family, and not all of us like to be on time, or we like to procrastinate. And there is no procrastinating with Brendan. He makes sure that we all get what we're supposed to be done on time.
I love that. And I think this is something that we need to point out to kids and say, like, hey, this is your superpower. And they should be proud of that, right? Because
Yes.
you always need to find something special. And what I'm thinking, like, whenever, like, let's say if someone loses their sight, right, their hearing becomes more in tune, right? So same thing, like if you're not able to speak, there's something, right? You will find some kind of skill that makes you unique and special.
Yeah, absolutely.
So another thing I was wondering, so how about you as parents, you and your husband, how you're dealing with autism, with parenting a child, and then going through all the difficulties? Is it something that made it extremely difficult but made you stronger? Or I know some couples, they can really handle the struggle and sometimes they fall apart.
Yeah, I can tell you, it definitely is a struggle. It's a struggle on marriages, for sure. I think because everyone handles and processes it differently. And I think it can be more difficult for men, to really, when they get that autism diagnosis or a special, needs diagnosis, and they have to realize that their child is going to be unique and different and not be what, they thought they would be, not to mean that they're going to be any lesser, but it's just going to be different. And everyone handles that in their own way. I think also the financial strains that are placed on families. I mean, it's already stressful when you have children to be able to provide for them. And, most families have to have two working, parents to be able to make ends meet. And to have the added stress of, a special needs child and the therapies and battling with insurance and trying to know what's right and what needs to be done for your child when there's so much information, conflicting information out there, it's very tough for a husband and wife. You've got to really, I mean, when you go into a relationship and you go into marriage, you really need to realize that these are the possibilities of what you may have to be dealing with. It's not, for the faint of heart. And so thankfully, Ted and I have known each other a long time. We met in high school, and we dated a little bit in high school, but then we both went to college, and we met each other again 13 years later with some life experience under our belt. We both come from large families, and I'm the oldest and he's the youngest. Mm-hmm. So I think that there's a lot of, we were built and prepared, for whatever came our way, I think. And it has been, challenging through times. It has been, like all marriages, as part of life. And we've been able to stay strong on that. And I thank God I can have flexibility in my work. And, Ted is the breadwinner and able to, stay home and work from home, which is great. So, and we're able to provide and meet his needs, comfortably. But we understand, that is not the case for all families. And so that was one of the things when we started the Parker Foundation. I would say that starting the Parker Foundation was something Ted and I did together that really strengthened our relationship, because we came together, we created this, and we worked through it, and we still do. Here it is 11 years later, and we're still doing it, and it takes both of us working very hard to be able to continue this journey and be able to help others. But overall, once you get through the difficult parts and you see that you can manage it together and you love each other and you just love each other through the hard times, he's given me grace and I've given him grace over the years. And, but, we just always know that it's what's most important, for our family. And I think we're stronger now than ever, which is amazing, and we're celebrating 20 years of marriage this year.
Goodness.
Yeah, so I would say, it can be tough, but if you take on a challenge and like this together, it's very empowering as a couple. Mm-hmm. You see each other in a new light, and anytime you can serve other people, and he loves, he's an athlete as well as I am, and so we use what we love to go out there and to serve. And I'm able to see him in a very unique light, and he's able to see me in a unique light when I am here speaking and, coordinating these events and everything. And we just have a lot of respect for each other. It just really has helped our relationship grow. And, I would hope that for all families. That's one thing that we just try to do, is just make, these really, this a safe place for families to come, because they just need it. They need love. They need to know that they're understood and accepted. They need to see their children out there having a good time, having fun. And that's what we want to create. And that's what we have created. And it's just amazing. And, when you do that, something like that together, I mean, it's pretty cool.
Amazing. So, as I always tell my couples, so as a couples therapist, right? So, a couple of things, right? And you actually mentioned it. So, grace and gratitude, right? Give each other grace, and then be grateful for what you have, right? And then what I'm hearing from you, you have a joint purpose and mission, right? Goal, purpose, mission that help you to be more connected on the same page.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right?
So I think if it can be service based, that's even more amazing. But even if it's just something like having a fun project or business together, something, I don't know. I just think that's something also that Ted and I do. Both being entrepreneurs, but, support each other and one another and our dreams. And when they interconnect and we can have fun together, creating, it's an amazing thing if you can do that with your partner.
I love that. So, you're absolutely amazing. You have this great mission and really focused. So, if you can give us one last piece of advice for anyone listening, so if they have a child with autism, if they know someone with autism, what they should know.
Yeah, I think a lot of people just really want to connect with individuals with autism and they don't really know how. And so I would just say, whatever that individual or that child likes to do, just get in their world, whatever it is that they like to do. If they like to talk about one thing and that's really what they love, just sit with them and let them talk about it as long as they want to. Or if a child is nonverbal and they just like to sit and sort, rocks or toys, just sit with them and look at what they're doing and talk to them and just connect that way. I just think be present and let them be seen. This is what it was about, was, how the importance of being seen, get in their world and let them be seen and let them show you what they have to learn, what they have to share, because each child is special and unique and has something to share. Some of my most amazing moments are when I'm doing art and I'm creating a mosaic and I'm working with a child that is nonverbal and they sit down with me and we just have a few moments of where we're just on the same page, we're on the same level, and they're doing their thing. They pick it up. I don't even have to show them what to do, and they amaze me. And so it's just in those small moments of gratitude and beauty and being humans together. And so I think that just, be kind. We need that right now in this world, just let everything else go and just love one another and be kind.
Well, thank you so much. You're absolutely amazing. You're doing some great things. So, if anyone wants to reach out, if they want to learn more, what can they find you?
Okay, so theparkerfoundation.com is our website. We're on Facebook and Instagram, the Parker Foundation for Autism. And if you want to email us, it's very simple. It's info@theparkerfoundation.com. And we do a newsletter once a month that talks about our programs and our what we're doing in the community and has registrations. Or even if you just want to reach out and learn more or I would love to mentor any families or organizations around anywhere and let you know how we've been able to be successful here. Um, so that's what I would say. Also, I'm on Facebook and Instagram personally. It's Mrs. Melissa Parker, and I'm always here. I'm here to help. So don't be shy. Reach out if you have any questions.
Thank you so much. You're absolutely amazing. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
watching, and we will see you again in 2 weeks. Thanks, and have a good night. guess we're not going offline tonight. Maybe we have to continue.
It's okay.
While we're still online, I guess let's do one more thing.
Okay.
I guess we're not going anywhere tonight, so so let me ask you one more thing. So as a mom, as a parent, self-care is really important. So is there one thing that you do for yourself? What helps you to recharge your battery?
Self-care is very important, and we actually have a mom's retreat that we do quarterly because we need to teach our moms and remind them that they need to take care of themselves. So one of the ways is through my mom's retreat, and I have other moms that help me put this on, and we do things like painting pots and planting flowers together, or making relaxing eye masks, also learning breathing techniques. So breathing is something that is very important. Our breath work is so important, and being able to manage if we're in a stressful situation and how to calm ourselves down and keep calm in a stressful situation. So we like to learn different breathing techniques. I do use those, and then I love to get outside. So tennis is what I love to do to be able to get outside, connect. I've always been an athlete, and I just love tennis and anything being outside. So I love to go for walks, and that's something that my son likes to do with me. So I try to get him out for a walk every day. It's just so important for them as well to be able to get outside and be in the fresh air and be in nature, and it's so healing.
I love that. And is there anything you do? Well, one more thing, and then we'll try again to wrap up
Okay.
episode. So, how about you and your husband? Is there anything you like to do as a couple?
Yeah, we like to travel when we can, but it has to be quick trips because obviously it's a lot to try to make sure that we have coverage for Brendan 24 hours a day. But we have a boat, and we like to take the boat, just go up and down the Indian River and stop different places to have a little something to eat. And we did that yesterday, actually. So we picked up some of our friends on their dock and went for a little boat ride. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for sharing once again.
Okay.
This is Melissa Parker, and amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank you. Thank you for watching, and we will see you again in 2 weeks. Thank you, and stay tuned for more.